I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music, the best kept secret in music reviews. We're going to go back in time. We're going back in time just a little bit, back to September of 2013, when an album entitled Motto from a British indie rock band named Sky Larkin came out. Sky Larkin trio with a female vocalist. Her voice is strangely familiar. Tom, what would you say her vocal presence is like?
It took me a while to figure it out, and it was driving me nuts, but I finally realized the Joy Formidable.
Absolutely.
The vocals sound a lot like the Joy Formidable.
And I remember you saying that and me just being like, bam, of course it does. So many times, especially on The Big Roar, is that the Joy Formidable's most recent album?
Their first one.
Oh, The Big Roar, the first one. The track Whirring comes to mind.
Yeah.
That track in particular, I mean, the vocals on this album really resemble that. And actually, Sky Larkin's sound as a band kind of resemble the Joy Formidable.
Yeah.
Now, I would say that I actually like a lot of aspects about this sound better. This is all about the guitar. Electric guitar. You usually have a couple electric guitars just riffing away. Really colorful riffs that are going all over the place, providing a lot of melody.
Kind of like Modest Mouse, Sunny Day Real Estate, kind of indie rock sound.
Totally Sunny Day Real Estate influence.
Definitely. We say it all the time.
And it's totally true here.
It's specifically in the guitar, though.
Yeah,
specifically in the guitar. And I think the rest of the instrumentals do a good job, but I think that, to me at least, this album was all about the guitar and vocal interplay, because those were the highlights. The guitar riffs were great, kind of like dueling riffs at times, and it just really created this this great atmosphere. Now what's interesting is that no guitar part was particularly thick on its own, but it all came together to sound very complete, is the way I would say it. And that's one big difference. You know, we talked a lot about the Joy Formidable. I think the Joy Formidable has a very pounding, powerful, anthemic rock sound, and that's not exactly what these guys have. They go a little bit more for subtlety. They go a little bit more for a kind of classic thin indie crunch.
Yes, and to add on to that, it's more about the songwriting. It's more about the craft and the tact that goes into creating a sonic experience, listening experience, than just pounding out an anthem. And not only that, but the Joy Formidable, something that I've always criticized them of, is that their albums just don't have a lot of pizzazz. It's all shock value. It's all just pounding anthems, and it kind of wears thin on you really quick. I mean, it's just kind of repetitive. Where this, you actually have a lot of variety, and just look at the track lengths here. There's a ton of variety. You have a lot of 3-minute tracks. There's a 6-minute track. There's a 5-minute track. You have a good amount of difference of different track lengths, which shows that they're playing with their songwriting a little bit. It shows that they're taking song structures and letting the songs really build, and then doing some things with the outros.
You even have a track that's right in the middle of the album, Loom, track 5, that's only slightly over 2 minutes, and it was a track pick for both of us.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's probably the most upbeat, poppy track on this album.
It brought some great variety, and it didn't overstay its welcome. I think because it's a little more upbeat and poppy, I think if it went on for 5 minutes, it wouldn't have really fit with what was around it. But I think that just having it be there as just a little bit of burst of color and variety really made it stand out in the album and helped the album flow and completeness as a whole. So I think that this was just a very well-crafted album, and when it comes down to it, I think that all these songs were good. You know, I picked 4 track picks. There were a couple that I felt like I could have picked also. And also, this is an album that I got the impression that if I kept listening, even those ones that I thought were maybe a little bit weaker would grow on me.
Yeah, I definitely felt like there was like a top tier of tracks. Yeah. I would consider all the tracks relatively strong, with actually no weak points. Yeah. But I would consider there to be like a top tier and then another tier that like almost were track picks for me, and then the rest were just good. I didn't feel like there was any filler here or any repetition. They do enough in the songwriting. Specifically within the guitar melodies and the sound that they're going for, the different tempo changes that they try between tracks, and also vocal melodies. The vocalist does a very, very good job here of not only providing that kind of, you know, when you have female indie vocals kind of like the Joy Formidable, you expect kind of that power punch, but it's not always that. She shows that she really does have a lot of control over her voice. Yeah. She can add a lot of intensity without adding a ton of volume, and that's something that I look for in a vocalist. Her lyrics are actually surprisingly good, and while you have this really bright sound to a lot of this album, the lyrics can be surprisingly dark at times too.
Yeah, that's very true. I want to jump real quick back to album structure. Sure. I think one thing that makes this a much more complete album as well is the fact that it starts strong and ends strong, particularly. The first track, Motto, which is a longer track, track starts it off very well, establishes their sound, and establishes an energy. And then the last two tracks, Italics and Que Linda, are fantastic. The closing track is a little bit slower, has more of an ambient to it. It's the perfect closing track. It couldn't have been anywhere else on the album.
Starts with this electric piano and just the vocalist, singing and very, very poignant lyrics, and then the song just kind of like the guitars and the drums kick in, and it's just this beautiful way to end the album.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
It capped it perfectly. I want to point out that track 11, the second to last track on the album, Italics, has maybe one of the catchiest guitar parts I've ever heard in my life. That song, guaranteed, is in my top 20 favorite songs of this year. Where it ends up, I don't know, but I could not get that out of my head. And really, Tom and I talk a lot about on this channel, albums need to have a defining track. Yeah. With Kid A, our collective favorite, one of our two favorite albums of all time, it's Idiotech. Yeah. On 9 Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral, it's Closer. There's always a defining track on the album, and Italics is the defining track of Motto. Now, I'm not trying to put Motto in the same realm of existence of musical canon as those two albums I just mentioned, but it definitely deserves some credit. This is a solid album with great songwriting, a lot of great instrumentation, and really it's just a good album all the way around. From a production standpoint too, they did such a good job trying to make this sound pristine while still giving the guitars especially a grittiness.
It's a very good balance.
It just kind of blew me away. It's a very professional sound is what it came down to. I think I'm going to go 80 on this.
I'm going 82.
Okay, so that puts us at an 81. Anything above 80 from us is a must-listen album. If you have not yet listened to Sky Larkin's third record, Motto, you need to go out today and listen to this and leave us a comment. Give us your thoughts. What did you like? What did you not like? Let us know. www.velocitiesmusic.com, youtube.com/velocitiesmusic. As always, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and let us know what albums you'd like to see us review on this channel. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.